Good morning, everyone. I am the first presenter, and as you can see in the first slide, I have my name on it. So I am Alea Catherine T. Abord, the presenter. So I'm going to report Introduction to Self under the subject of understanding the self. So let's start. I do not know if you have noticed the constant effort that one is consciously or unconsciously making to express oneself to be something, either socially, morally, or economically. This entails a great deal of striving. Our whole life is based on the everlasting struggle to arrive, to achieve, to become. The more we struggle, the more significant and exaggerated the self becomes. With all its limitations, fear, ambitions, frustrations, there must have been times when each one has asked themselves whether it is not possible to be totally without the self. So let me ask you a question. What is self? The self is the totality of the individual consisting of all characteristics, attributes, conscious and unconscious, mental and physical, apart from its basic references to personal identity, being, and experience. So have you ever been at a noisy gathering struggling to have a conversation over music and the chatter of voices, and yet managed to hear someone at the other end of the room mention your name? If so, then you have experienced the cocktail party effect. The cocktail party effect. When we say cocktail party effect, it refers to the ability to focus one's attention in a particular stimulus while filtering out a range of other stimuli, much the same way that a partygoer can focus on a single conversation in a noisy room. For example, noise or environmental noise. The next one, it refers to the ability of people to focus on a single talker or conversation in a noisy environment. For example, if you are talking to a friend at a noisy party, you are able to listen and understand what they are talking about and ignore what other people nearby are saying. Even infants who are too young to walk or talk exhibit this tendency. To the cognitive psychologist, this phenomenon shows that the human beings are selective in their attention. To the social psychologist, it also shows that the self is an important object of our attention, and it conceptualizes the self using basic principles of social psychology. In psychology, the notion of the self refers to a person's experience as a single, unitary, autonomous being that is separate from others' experience with continuity through time and place. It means that the experience of the self includes consciousness of one's physicality as well as one's inner character and emotional life, and that is the relationship between individual persons and the people around them, and the ABCs of social psychology, the affective, behavioral, cognitive components of the self. We all know that the self is first and foremost the collection of beliefs that we hold about ourselves. In the next topic, you will know more about our important characteristics. What are we good at? What do we do poorly? What kind of situations do we prefer or avoid?
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. I am Lori Jane Acedo Banog, and I'm going to discuss about understanding self. First, what is understanding self all about? It is designed to help the students understand the nature of identity, including factors that influence and shape personal identity. So we have self-understanding is the awareness of an ability to understand one's own thought and actions. Second, to attain the sight into your attitudes, motives, defenses, reactions, weaknesses, and strengths. And the last one, we have it is a subjective sense of the self and a complex mixture of unconscious and conscious thoughts, attitudes, and perceptions. So, we have their definition of understanding self. So, we have two definition. First, understanding self represents the sum total of people's conscious perception of their identity as distinct from other. It is not a static phenomenon but continues to develop and change throughout our lives. It is by George Herbert Mead. Who is this guy? George Herbert Mead is an American philosopher, sociologist, and psychologist primarily affiliated with the University of Chicago, where he was one of several distinguished pragmatists. And for our second definition, we have the understanding self is thinking about what is involved in being, what distinguishes you from being an object, an animal, or different person. It is by Richard Stevens. Richard Stevens is a noted author of computer books. So, we're going to discuss about importance of understanding self. So, first we have self-understanding has been recognized as a key competency for individuals to function efficiently in organizations. Second, it influences an individual's ability to make key decisions about self, others around. And the last one, understanding the self equips individuals with making more effective career and life choice, the ability to lead, guide, and inspire with authenticity. So, why is it important to understand the self? We have, it is because self-awareness is important because when we have a better understanding of ourselves, we are able to experience ourselves as unique and separate individuals. We are then empowered to make changes and to build in our areas of strength as well as identify areas where we would like to make improvement. That's all. Thank you.
Hi, this is Julissa Balili and my report all about components of self. Components of self has four components. The self one is self-esteem, the second one is body image, the third one is personal identity, and the fourth one is role performance. Self-esteem is the judgment of personal performance compared with a self-ideal. So, when we say self-esteem, it means pagpapahalaga sa sarili. Kung pinapahalagahan natin ang ating sarili, it means minamahal din natin ang ating sarili at na-appreciate natin yung mga ginagawa natin kahit na maraming problema, trials na dumating sa ating life. Why self-esteem is important? Self-esteem is important because it impacts our decision making, our relationship, and our mental health. And also it influences our motivation to take new challenges. To body image is an attitude about one's physical attributes and characteristics, appearance, and performance. So when we say body image, the example of that is physical appearance. Physical appearance includes skin, hair, and body shape. So, ngayon, maraming mga kabataan na gustong ma-achieve yung mga body goals nila at marami ding mga kabataan na nai-stress ng dahil sa mga bullies. Dahil binubully sila, especially na yung mga matataba at yung mga payat. We should avoid comparing ourselves to others because lahat tayo ay may kanya-kanyang characteristics and physical appearance. Personal identity. A sense of personal identity is what sets one person apart as a unique individual. So, personal identity includes gender, names, and family Maintaining our personal identity is important. It's because it strengthens our character at doon natin nalalaman kung ano tayo, sino tayo at kung ano ang kaya nating gawin. Ang identity ay simula pagkabata natin hanggang sa pagtanda natin at nadadala natin yan. Role performance. Role refers to a set of expected behaviors determined by familial, cultural, and social norms. So, when we say role performance, you act as a role model. So as a role model, you have to think first before you act. Factors affecting self-concept. 1. Factors across the lifespan. 2. Psychological factors. 3. Physiological factors. 4. Cultural and lifestyle factors. Building up self-concept. Building up self-concept is primary factor of effective personality and behavior. The 4 steps to build up self-concept are as follows. 1. Self-awareness. 2. Self-acceptance. 3. Self-realization. 4 is self-disclosure. So, when we say self-awareness involves being aware of our thoughts, behavior, and feelings. So, dapat tayong maging aware sa mga binibitawan nating salita sa ibang tao dahil baka magdulot ito ng sakit sa kanila. Number 2 is self-acceptance. Self-acceptance is accepting of what we have and kung ano lang yung kaya natin. The example of self-acceptance is our flaws. So, we should love and embrace our flaws because wala namang ibang magmamahal sa mga flaws natin kundi tayo lang ning naman, so dapat nating mahalin at i-accept. The third one is self-realization. Self-realization. Importanteng makilala natin yung ating sarili ng mabuti para magawa natin yung mga bagay na maikabubuti sa ating sarili. For example, college ka na at pipili ka na ng program. So, dapat mong piliin kung ano talaga yung gusto mo para pagdating ng panahon, makokontento ka. The fourth one is self-disclosure. So, self-disclosure, pagkisiwalat sa sarili. When it is important to pass our thought and information, but passing your information to other has a limitation. So, kapag nag-share ka sa kaibigan mo ng mga thoughts mo, mga information mo, it can build friendship and trust.
Good day, everyone. Before I start my report, let me introduce myself first. So, by the way, my name is Jessica Adlawan. My report is all about self-concept. So, what is self-concept? It is the set of beliefs that we hold about who we are is called the self-concept. It can also be defined as the sum total of an individual's beliefs about his or her own personal attributes. It is basically the individual's image of the kind of person he or she is. Especially included in this are the awareness of being what I am and the awareness of function what I can do. Self-concept also what we think we ought to be and would like to be. This latter component of self is called the idea self. The idea self represents the self-concept that an individual would ideally want to possess. Ang self-concept ay ang mga konsepto ng sarili ay kung paano mo napapansin ang iyong mga kakayahan sa pag-uugali at natatangi o naiibang mga katangian. For example, beliefs such as I am a good friend, I am a kind of person are part of an overall self-concept. There are two ways in which we preserve ourselves. First, positive self-concept. People with positive self-concept believe in themselves, are confident about their ability to deal with problems, make decisions, feel equal to others, have respect for themselves, and expect it from others. Second is the negative self-concept. If people see themselves as failures and have a negative, pessimistic image of themselves, they will begin to act the part. Negative feelings feed on themselves and become a downward spiral, gradually encompassing all of the people's thoughts, action, and relationships. Positive effectivity refers to positive emotions and expression, including cheerfulness, pride, enthusiasm, energy, and joy. Negative affectivity is negative emotions and expression, which includes sadness, disgust, lethargy, fear, and distress. Like other belief systems, the self-concept includes cognitive aspect, behavioral aspect, and affective aspect. Cognitive aspect self-sema. Self-sema are cognitive generalizations about the self derived from past experience that organize and guide the processing of self-related information. Ang cognitive aspect ay tumutukoy sa mga proseso ng pag-iisip at mga pamamaraang kaisipan na kasangkot sa proseso ng pag-aaral. For example, thinking o ang pag-iisip, knowing o ang pag-aalam, remembering o ang pag-alala, judging o paghuhusga, and problem solving o paglutas ng problema. Second is the affective or evaluative aspect, self-esteem. Self-esteem reflects the perceived difference between an individual's actual self-concept, who I think I really am, and some ideal self-image, who I am would really like to be. Affective aspect is the aspect of mental processes or behavioral directed toward action or change and including impulse, desire, volition, and striving. Third is the behavioral aspect, self-perception. Self-perception theory reflects we observe our behavior and the situation in which it took place, make attribution about why the behavior occurred, and drew conclusions about our own characteristic and disposition. In other words, we come to understand ourselves the same way we perceive and understand others. So, ang behavioral aspect ay sumasaklaw sa mga tugon ng isang individual na umangkop sa kanyang kapaligiran bilang ang kahulugan ng mga personal na layunin na natututo ng mga bagong kasanayan sa pagsasaayos ng mga tugon sa mga tukoy na kaganapan. So there are three aspects of behavior. 1 is the actions, 2 is the cognition, and 3 is the emotions. And also there are 5 main aspects of human behavior. 1 is the psychology. Psychology is the science of human behavior. Behavior of an individual refers to anything an individual does. 2 is the personality. Personality is the unique, integrated, and organized system of all behavior of a person. Third, interest. An interest is preference for one activity over another. 4. Attitude. Defined attitude as a mental state of readiness, organized through experience, exerting a directive and dynamic influence upon the individual's response to all objects and situations with which it is related. 5. Emotions. Emotion denote a state of being moved, stirred up or aroused and involve impulses, feelings, and physical and psychological reactions. However, there are some characteristics that all of our self-concept have in common. 1. Displays uniquely with each person. 2. Vary from very positive to very negative. 3. Carries emotional, intellectual, and functional dimensions. 4. Changes with the context. 5. Changes over time. 6. influence the individual's life. Dimensions of self-concept is the self-esteem, self-worth, self-image or physical, ideal self, identities or roles or social, and personal traits and qualities. When we say self-esteem is ang pagpapahalaga sa sarili, for example, an individual's subjective evaluation of their own worth. Self-worth o sariling halaga, for example, beliefs that you are a good person who deserves good things. Self-image or physical o sariling imahe, for example, seeing yourself as an attractive and desirable person. Ideal self o ideal sa sarili. For example, someone who excels in science subjects, spends a lot of the studying and does not get queasy at the sight of blood. Identities or roles or social o ang pagkikilanlan o tungkulin. For example, a person may hold various identities such as a teacher, father, or a friend. Personal traits and qualities, mga personal na ugali at katangian, for example, generosity, integrity, loyalty, devoted, loving, kindness, sincerity, and self-control.
Good day everyone, I am Giselle Sorna Aurelio. Today I will discuss Module 2, the Self, which is self-confidence. Self-confidence, a feeling of trust in one's abilities, qualities, and judgment is self-confidence. The belief that you can achieve success and competence. In other words, believing yourself to be capable. Self-confidence might be in reference to specific tasks or a more wide-ranging attitude you hold about your abilities in your life. Both self-confidence and self-esteem relate to your perception of yourself. The former relates to your perception of your abilities, and the latter relates to your perception of your worth or value. Both concepts are closely related, and those with low self-confidence will often have low self-esteem and vice versa. So, from the word self-confidence, being self-confidence or tiwala sa sarili is good, but we didn't know or expect that some of people judge us, especially what people says, because our eyes is one of the reason why can people judge and sees the negative of what we are, of what we live. Dahil yung mga mata natin ang rason kung bakit may nasasaktan tayo or may nadjudge tayong ibang tao. Self-confidence, alam mo yung feeling na confident ka na kung anong meron ka sa mga ginagawa mo, confident ka na kung sino ka, kung ano ka, kung anong gusto sa buhay mo, but there's people talaga na mag-judge sa'yo. Dahil sa nakikita nila, dahil sila yung mga taong naiinggit kung anong meron ka sa buhay mo ngayon na wala sa kanila. Being self-confidence to yourself might be hurt to your feelings. Alam mo yung binigay mo na yung buong tiwala mo sa sarili mo. Pero meron talagang taong darating sa buhay natin na pwedeng sirain yung tiwala sa sarili natin. Di ba hindi naman natin namamalayan na yung mga taong nasa paligid natin o yung mga taong dumarating sa buhay natin, sila pala yung taong makakasira sa tiwala natin sa sarili. Di ba? Di natin alam na sila pala yung makakasakit sa atin. So next, there are two types of self-confidence, which is self-confidence and self-confidence. Self-confidence is what you believe to be right, even if others mock or criticize you. Sometimes you don't know before you are what are mistakes. Next is waiting for others to congratulate you on your accomplishments, accepting compliments graciously. Thanks, I really worked hard on that prospectus. I'm pleased you recognize my efforts. If you're confident, wait what people can say about you so that they cannot judge or criticize you. Next is types of self-confidence, which is low self-confidence. Governing your behavior based on what other people think, staying in your comfort zone, fearing failure, and so avoid taking rest. Some of people stay alone. Alam mo yung feeling na gusto mong magmukmok dahil sa mga failure mo, pagwala sa tiwala sa sarili mo dahil sa mga sinasabi ng ibang tao. Nawala yung self-confidence mo. You thinking negatives, but alam mo being alone can make your confidence low, or we call low self-confidence. So, that's for our discussion today. Hope you learn, and thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carmela Binantoles, your reporter for today, and my topic is all about self-image. Self-image. Self-image is how you perceive yourself or describe yourself as a oneself. It is built a number of self-impression and have built up over time. What are your hopes and dreams? What do you think and feel? What have you done throughout your life, and what did you do? This self-image can be very positive, giving a person self-confidence, and their thoughts and actions are negative, making a person doubtful of their capabilities and ideas. May mga taong is may positive sila para ipakita nila ang kanilang self-confidence through actions or thoughts nila. Then, may mga taong negative. Dito nila pinapakita yung doubtful nila na kung makakaya ba nila o hindi. Just like, mabigay sila ng opinion, hindi sila makapagbigay kasi nahiya sila or hindi nila kaya, or nahiya sila kasi baka mali ang kanilang ideas. There are some examples of negative and positive in our life. Positive self-image is having a good view of yourself. For example, seeing yourself as an attractive and desirable person, having an image of yourself as a smart and intelligent person, seeing a happy, healthy person when you look in the mirror. So having a positive self-image is a good view of yourself. For example, Ana is feeling mo positive ka, attractive ka, o desirable ka, then smart o intelligence ka, confidence ka nga, uy ako, kuwan ko ka ng bright ko, o smart ko, grabe ni mo, o confidence. Then sa negative examples of self-image, typically a negative self-image refers to when you have a poor view of yourself. For example, people may feel as though they are unattractive, undesirable, unintelligent, or unhappy. This normally results in us feeling negative towards ourselves when we see our reflection in the mirror. So the sa negative is makita nimo imong kaugalingon nga murag idaw nimo kay feel nimo unattractive ka, unintelligent, kanang dili nimo kaya, o unhappy ka kay ka na mga butang dili nimo kaya, na i-doubt sa imong huna-huna, o kung i-share nimo sa ila base ang pagtanaw nila sa imo is mali ka. Surprisingly, your self-image can be very different from how the world sees you. Some people outwardly seem to have it all. Intelligence, looks, personal, and financial success. O diba? We have a bad self-image. Conversely, others who have had a very difficult life and multiple hardships may also have a very positive self-image. Kung asa pa tong kanang intelligence, looks ug personal and financial success nila is na ay posibilidad nga mabad ilang image kay, for example anang ilang paghambog kay bright sila, kanang sa ilang looks kay gwapo sila, din sa ilang financial success kay nakuha na sila kanang na success na sila paghuman nila og kanang just like bitaw something just like na ipanghambog nimo sa lain nga ing anak ka. So dili pud tanan positive is maayo o dili tanan negative is dili maayo. Conversely, others who have had a very difficult life and multiple hardships may also have a very positive image. So kung kinsa pa tong mga nag-anto sa ila kanang nag-hard sila og work maayo ba, nag-work sila og maayo para sa ilaha is mao pa tong mga naay positive self-image kay ilang mo na nga kanang sige ra kaya ra ko ni mao ni ako buhaton, I won't give up this because that is my dreams and my ambition in life. Dapat ma-success ko ani ug dili na ako biguon ang akong pamilya, just like that sa mga positive self-image. Pero dili tanan positive self-image is kanang maayo na po umandautan kanang sobra na bitaw sila kanang kumbaga makapanghambog na sila sa lain kay mauna na ilang mga nahimo. Then negative and positive self-image. In the picture below, in picture 1, I fail at everything I do, so why bother? I am bound to get it wrong. What's the point? No one cares about me anyway. So kanang mga negative self-image nimo is naa na sa imong mga kanang nakita nimo sa imong kaugalingon nga ulay nagmahal sa imuha na ay wrong sa imuhang sarili o hunahuna. Then sa left figure picture below, positive self-image. I don't have to do things just to fit in. It's normal to make mistakes, but I will learn from them. I can change. I can control myself. So dari as a positive is positive lang yun dapat ka. It's normal nga magkamali ka, as long as ka na nga magkamali guys, ma-learn na nimo sunod. Some believe that a person's self-image is defined by events that affect him or her, doing well or not in school, works, or relationship. Others believe that a person's self-image can help shape those events. For example, ana is kanang sa school ka, naigipahimo sa imo nga project, grabe ka ka-positive nga kana mabuhat na nako kay kaya nako na ka-positive, pero na fail ka kay dili na mao ang gipahimo sa imuha. Din kana po na mga events is makatabang na sa imuha para mulambot pa ka, para makarealize ka sa imong kaugalingon nga kadto nga project nga akong gihimo is dili to mao, dapat i-improve pa to nako para mo improve ang imong para mo improve ang imong thinking kung unsa man to ng mga events nga, kung unsa man to ng mga project nga ipahimo sa imuha. Then, but cannot be defined that your self-image has a very strong impact on your happiness, and your outlook on life can affect those around you. If you project self-image, people will be more likely to see you as a positive, capable person. Pero, dili sa tanang panahon ang imong self-image is strong o very strong impact sa imong kalipay. Ang uban is makaapekto na sa imo makaapekto na sa laing tao o sa kalibutan. Pero og daduna nimo ang positive sa imong self-image is naay mga tao nga ganahan sa imuha nga moyon sila nga uy dapat din siyang tularan kay okay man dayon siya nga pakita nimo sa ila ang imong positive o di nimo ipakita sa ila ang mga negative nimo. However, it's important that your self-image be both positive and realistic. Sometimes have an occasional negative thought or criticism about oneself can encourage change, hard work, growth, and success. Sometimes having too positive an image of oneself can encourage complacency, underachievement, arrogance. Finding balance between feeling positive about oneself but having realistic goals is important. Why? Nganong important man ang atong self-image, dapat both positive ug realistic ta. Kay if positive ta as expected, we are wrapped with positivity, di ba? Puro ta mga ideals, happiness, and good things na makagaan sa atong self. If ever na positive goals rata mag-focus, possible dili nato makita ang negativity, which is kinahanglan sa atong self-progress. Dapat balance ang positive ug negative, maong kinahanglan nato maging realistic or mag-relay pud sa reality. Unsa din ang realistic goals? Realistic goals mao nang mga serve as more way of talking the goal bitaw into in reality. Kinahanglan into goal bitaw in an action rather. Walay improvement sa to kaugalingon if puro rata positivity. Kaya in reality, kinahanglan nato i-face ang negative o positive. So maunang sometimes bisan kana atong gusto na plano para sa atong kaugalingon, kinahanglan nato gihapon i-view ang other side. Manang sometimes maging praktikalan nata sa ato ang life. Maunang ipares gyud nato ang positive o realistic sa ato ang self-image. Kay kung walay realistic, asa di ay ang negativity ana. Giunsa nato pagbangon kung puro rata positivity sa atong huna-huna. Dapat na adjust negativity in our mind or sa atong self-image. Kay duha man jud na sila mag-uban. Kay kung wala ang negative, ambot ug makayo man nato kung positive ra permi. Siguro kung positive ra siya permi is kanang lipay kaayo ta din. Wala tay mga negative thinking musulod sa atong mind. Kay positive ra man, pero mas importante gyud og mukuan ta sa realidad nato, kanang sa reality nato na kinahanglan nato ikuan ang negativity sa ato ang self-image kay mag-uban yun na sila duha bisan pag magkinaunsa mag-uban yun na sila kay ang negative part na sa ato ang life in case sa kanang mga trials din ang positive mao na siya ang nagakuan sa ato ang huna-huna nga kaya na nato ng mga trials dili ta magpalupig ana og maora to din. I hope na namin nasabtan sa akong report. Then thank you and God bless us all.